Welcome, listeners, to our premiere episode of JPOOL's Gnerd Corner News Show. Hi there, everybody. I am, of course, JPOOL. I'd like to introduce my special guest host for tonight. Give it up for Sandra Lee.
Yay! You might remember me from such podcasts as Circuit 42.
Exactly, where you're extremely popular.
Yes. Ooh.
And all the peoples want you.
Ooh.
Not that way. I mean, media-wise. Alright, so, tonight we will be discussing a few, well, more than a few, stories in pop culture this week, including our top 10 films in the box office. So, let's get started with our number one story for this week. We have Arizona Icon that just came to the Valley at the Glendale Civic Center. And it's Arizona Icon, its first annual toy and pop culture convention. I enjoyed it personally. Being a collector of action figures and collectibles, it's something that I always enjoy doing when I go to any convention. I always go up to the vendors and check out the collectibles in hopes that it won't drain my wallet. Mm-hmm. And also my wall space too, because I have a lot, if anybody's seen my pictures. There's a lot of collectibles in the background of those pictures. But, I enjoy collectibles and action figures. And I know there are also a lot of cosplayers there, too, including a lot of charitable cosplayers like the Arizona Avengers.
Yay!
Yay, which you're a part of, Sandra.
I know.
And
I dressed up as Victoria Hand.
Yes. Very good good job by the Victoria Hand, too.
Yay.
Also, AZ TARDIS. They also had very awesome girls into nerdy activities, which can also be called vagina. This is you can swear on this one too, so you don't have to worry about any beeping or any.
Okay.
I had to tell my guest from last night about that. She's like, "Can I swear?" And I'm like, "Yes, you can." So yes, and also I forgot the G.I. Joe group that was there. I've seen them before. I just keep forgetting that group's name. And the 501st, which everybody loves, Stormtroopers.
Hey, you said it. That's going to be a thing now.
Oh, God. Well, there's not that many Starship Trooper collectibles out there really to be a thing, but there are plenty of Star Wars collectibles, and that's the perfect group to have there because there's so many vendors selling Star Wars things. So, no, I really enjoyed it. They had a handful of panels that leaned toward, toys and collectibles, and some panels that were sort of what you would see at other conventions. They really didn't have anything to do with toys or collectibles, but, they were fun to join in if you wanted to see something that didn't involve, toys or collectibles. But, no, I enjoyed the show, and I definitely am going back next year. Did you enjoy yourself while you were there?
Oh, yes. I made lots of friends and meet new people. Oh, there's this little girl. I think she's like 11. She wants to join the AZA, but, we have our policy of you have to be over 18 to join. Oh, well, maybe we can have a loophole. Like, the only way she can get in as if one of her parents can join. That way the parent can keep an eye on her.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I definitely recommend any of the listeners here in Arizona, if you are interested in a fun, for right now, small toy and pop culture convention, Arizona Icon is definitely something you should visit next year because they'll be coming back.
Yay! And maybe I have enough money to get my Sailor Moon music box, which is like $100.
Holy crap. Yes, you probably could have haggled it down.
It's like, I want a music box. I wanted to relive that, that moment.
Did you see one there?
Yes. What, the music box?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like I said, it was $100.
You could probably haggled it down to 80. You just have to be very good at that. And you have to be very blunt towards, you don't want to be an asshole to collectors, but they want to see somebody that, okay, you know what? You seem very sure of yourself and very confident. I'll haggle it down. A lot of collectors will do that. So, yeah. Either that or you can be Jewish and you can get it down to...
No.
That's not racist, is it?
Actually, my sister-in-law, when she's in Shanghai, she can haggle with the best of them.
Nice.
Yes, but the thing is that I don't... Because I'm a bit of, like, a Fluttershy, so I was like, okay, say what you will. Okay, I'll just go.
Yeah, I mean, they're not always... They are prices that they have on there sometimes, but when it comes to those type of collectibles, they're not always completely, set price. You can do a deal with the collectors. You just don't want to go, I want 50% off. You never do that. You never, try to cut the price in half. You slowly go down to see where, the tipping point is, and then right at that edge, you go, okay, let's try this. And then if they, feel that you're confident enough, because they will, they'll try to test you. I've done this before, so I've watched plenty of collector shows. But no, it's a good con to go to for a collector, and I recommend it fully. All right, so on to the second story. We're gonna move on quickly to the second story, and Netflix's Daredevil casts Rosario Dawson as a recurring character.
Ooh, who could she play?
Yeah, it still hasn't been announced on exactly who she'd play, and there's been a lot of people recently been announced their parts for different shows and movies, so I'm surprised that Netflix, Disney, or Marvel hasn't come out and said what character she'll be playing. I've heard some people say, what was it? I forgot the name now. Shoot.
Well, let's see, there's Elektra, Karen Page.
No, they said definitely not Elektra.
Okay, let's see. Karen Page, Matt's secretary, and I think that's all I got from the top of my head. You read Marvel.
Yeah, but I never was really a big Daredevil fan. I mean, I read a lot of older Daredevil's stuff, and more recently some of his newer stuff, but I haven't been, unlike X-Men and Spider-Man, I didn't keep up with Daredevil, or, like those comics. But it would be interesting to see what character she plays. She's a very good actress. She's a real nerd herself. You would probably catch her at San Diego Comic-Con on a yearly basis because, yeah, that's the type of person she is. She does like walking the floor, apparently, at San Diego. But she has a lot of the stars that like to do that have to disguise themselves because otherwise people just stop them for pictures, autographs, and they wouldn't be able to really enjoy themselves. So a lot of times they come in disguise.
Yeah, so she could be, and I'm getting all this from Wikipedia, so she could be Lady Bullseye, she could be Milla Donovan, or maybe she could be a brand new spanking character.
Yeah, definitely. And because Marvel is doing the whole, Marvel Cinematic Universe interconnecting with both television and movies, it would be really interesting to see a connection between those, the cinematic universe. I'm really looking forward to the announcement of what character she's going to play. And, she's also Sin City alumni, so she's already in the comic book realm of films and television. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her again. And also go see Sin City. A Dame to Kill. Because it's going to be badass. Alright, so we're going to move on to third story for tonight. And once upon a time, or Oyuat, I don't know, some people created that.
Oyuat.
Yes. Once upon a time. They have announced that they've got two actors, for the parts of Kristoff and Anna from Frozen, for the television show. And it's it's Scott Michael Foster from Greek and a newcomer, Elizabeth Lyle. Now, I want to know, get your thoughts on this casting choice by ABC.
Kind of makes sense to get someone who's already in the ABC family to be in Once Upon a Time, but I don't know. I never seen the show Greek, so I don't have a firm opinion on it.
Yeah, he's sort of like a scruffy-looking frat boy type of character. I mean, he was never the frat boy, character that was stuck up. He was sort of the,
oh yeah, a perfect Kristoff right there.
Yeah, I mean, it was always, his hair was always...
Kristoff is scruffy.
Yeah, he was scruffy.
Yes.
And you would
Who
never
you call is scruffy?
You would never see Scott Michael Foster's character on Greek ever as one of those pretty boys. Even though the main character in Greek, she was always, the perfect, sorority girl. But no, Elizabeth Lyle playing Anna, that's going to be interesting seeing how she works out since she is a newcomer. She really doesn't have a record for, at her acting. I think she's done a couple things in her background, but nothing as big as this.
Mm-hmm.
So, she has the eyes for it. If you've seen her photo on IMDb, let's just hope that she has the acting chops and doesn't turn into another Nicola Peltz, I'm sorry to say, from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because that was a great casting choice. Let's take 3 kids that have no acting ability whatsoever and see them create emotion on screen.
Oh no!
What emotion? I don't know. They took the same class that some of the actors from Twilight took. You mean no class at all? Oh yeah.
Oh snap. Okay, we're getting a bit segue here.
Definitely.
Okay.
So at number 4, we have CW casting Devon Aoki as Katana for Arrow.
So, for someone like me, who's Devon Aoki?
Devon Aoki is, she's an Asian actress that most of her roles involve her carrying bladed weapons.
Okay,
this is true.
It's perfect.
It is perfect. She's going to be involved with the storyline where, at the end, for spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the season finale of the 2nd season of Arrow, we see that Ollie actually did get off that island and he went to China. This is in the 5 years where he was apparently on the island and only on the island. Well, I guess he wasn't on the island the whole time. He went to China, and I don't know if he's going to be teaming up with Devon Aoki's character Katana. I do know that in the New 52, they did have a limited series. Well, actually, it wasn't limited. It went up to 10 issues for Katana, and then I guess it was doing poorly in sales, so they canceled it.
Mm.
But no, her character is a superheroine, and so I would like to see where they place Devon Aoki's character Katana in the storyline. Because, Arrow is turning out to be a kick-ass, season, for the upcoming people that are being cast. Well, I'm going to talk about that a little more next week because there's a big actor that's been cast recently. But that'll be for next week. I just enjoy Devon Aoki. She's not the best actress in the world, but when she doesn't talk and she just does the action, yes, she's very good at that.
So she's more the perfect action hero.
Yes. Well, perfect action hero would be they can convey more emotion on the screen, but she's good at her, swinging a sword and looking like a badass without having to say anything, just like her character in Sin City.
Okay, so she's a perfect action hero for the 80s.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's sad. All right, at number 5, back to Once Upon a Time. Okay, so we have Georgina Haig. It's either Haig or Haig. She was chosen to play the character Elsa, who we get to see, well, at least we get to see a stand-in actress at the end of the season finale of last year's Once Upon a Time.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people were hoping to get Anna Faith Carlson, who was this recent cosplayer that posted a bunch of selfies of her against a poster drop of Elsa at a video store or something to that effect.
Mm.
And a lot of people were like, well, the girl's an aspiring singer and somewhat of an actress herself. Why don't they choose her? She looks exactly like Elsa, and she cosplays and does a lot of charity work, which is actually pretty cool.
Although, as much as I prefer to have the first breakout cosplayer, breaking from what's most people consider like a hobby, turned out to be more like breaking out into acting. But you gotta think, okay, we need someone with experience, and Georgina has experience such as Fringe and Reckless. And also on the other spectrum, people wanted Natalie Dormer from Game of Thrones to play Elsa.
Really?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Because she's blonde and she has that Ice Queen look to her.
Well, this actress actually, she was recently on Fringe. I was surprised to see only 5 episodes. I thought she was on there longer because I actually watched Fringe, and I was kind of like, what's going on here? Why is she only on this many episodes? I just didn't remember how many episodes she was on until I actually looked up on IMDb and then realized, wait a minute, only 5? Okay, I felt she was in there a lot longer until she was, unfortunately killed off. But no, I like this choice. She's a fun actress, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she could bring to the role of Elsa, which we still don't know why she's someone to really be feared, except for she has ice powers.
Well, it kind of goes back to the original Snow Queen story, which is she's sort of portrayed as a villain, I believe.
Yeah, but they're gonna try to mix that Frozen storyline in there as well, since they did bring in Anna and Kristoff.
Oh yeah.
All right, so on our 6th story for tonight, the Superman first look photo surfaces. We finally get to see what Superman looks like in the new Batman v Superman. Apparently, this was supposed to be a sequel to Superman, but Batman is, I guess, better than Superman, so put him ahead of the original title character. Batman wins everything. So yeah, if you saw the picture that surfaced on the internet, the costume itself looks darker. I don't know if it's just the picture or the sepia tone that they decided to use, but it looks a lot darker than the suit that was in the Man of Steel. Did you actually happen to see the Man of Steel, Sandra?
No.
No. Oh my goodness.
Because, peer pressure.
Oh my goodness, I need to let you borrow that sometime.
Everyone says it's good, someone says it's bad. I don't know.
You need to make that judgment yourself. I enjoy it. I really enjoy that film. It's very, what a lot of people give crap about it. They go like, Superman doesn't kill. You don't read comic books, do you? I write Superman. And okay, if you write Superman, you do know that in the past he's killed. Oh, well, I didn't write those comics. Oh, okay, but you researched them, right? No.
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah, we're not gonna name names here.
No, because that happens. That happens several times in both DC and Marvel. They don't research like their characters that often.
Yeah, even when you're given
continuity.
Yeah, even when you're given the script to now you're the head writer of that certain franchise, and you're like, but now you're arguing certain points that were actually in past comic books that you say never happened. Did you read these comics? And then I wonder if they're actually a fan of the...
And also, it's all about the characters' like principles. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not gonna name names or name characters, but back in the 80s, this superhero is surprisingly liberal that his girlfriend proposed to him, and he accepted without batting an eye, despite like what people say about this character. And flash forward to 20 years later, I don't know my math, where his other love interest proposed to him, and he says, "Oh, it's the man's job to propose." I was like, "What?"
Exactly. So, if also in the background of this picture, we get to see this like darker type of city. It doesn't look like a metropolis at all. A lot of people are saying that that's Gotham. And it would make sense, since it does have Batman in the title. So
yeah, because Batman is popular.
Exactly. And they say, picture's worth 1,000 words, and so a lot of people are trying to glean as much as they can from this one picture. But we'll see.
And also you love the fan manipulations.
Oh yeah, well, what do you mean, the broke back Batman versus Superman picture?
Yeah, but surprisingly, that little pairing has been gone before.
It has.
It's the movies.
It has.
It's like the pairing right after Spock and Kirk.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So let's move on to the 7th story for tonight, and that story will be about the Batman TV series is coming to Blu-ray in HD to collectors that are interested in the old series, but all 120 episodes reformatted into HD.
Cool, HD. That means we can see how many hairs the Cesar Romero has.
Oh god. Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. So, my television had poor quality. I didn't realize he had a mustache. Yes, it's coming in HD, and there are still a lot of fans of that series. Recently at Phoenix Comic-Con, we had 3 of the main actors from this series, including Batman, Robin, Catwoman. We know who they are. Adam West, Burt Ward, and Julie Newmar.
Ooh, I watched Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar, and it was interesting.
Exactly. Well, we get to see this. We can finally get to see Catwoman turn around in HD.
And be all statuesque and tall.
Yes, and then Batgirl.
Oh yes.
And then realize how tight those costumes really were.
Almost to the point where it's painted on.
Yes, you can only hope. I mean, what? So, you can, it doesn't give a specific date, but it says it's available, this fall in November. So, look for that. I don't think I'll be purchasing it, but I know a lot of friends that will, so. Alright, so, our 8th story for tonight is Sailor Moon Crystal premieres.
Oh my god!
Yes! And if anybody, well, I believe even a lot of my male friends have already seen it. Yeah, they won't completely admit that, but they did watch it. I admit it, I watched it. I'm a big fan of Sailor Moon. But yeah, Sailor Moon Crystal premiered, and for me, it seemed like a rehash from the original series, but they really, I believe they're only having 26 episodes for the first season.
They most focus on the Dark Kingdom arc, because that's what the creator wrote, and then when the Sailor Moon anime starts to become popular, she got pressured by the big wigs of the anime production, saying you need to make more Sailor Moon manga, so we need something to base on.
Exactly. So we get, it seems we get to certain parts of the story faster than the original series.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe they are working on the English voice cast right now.
Actually, it's been cast.
Okay, so it has been cast, because I only heard
should I explain, or should we?
Well, yeah, no, you can actually, since it's connected to Sailor Moon Crystal, you can tell the listening audience who's been cast as the English dubbing actors.
Okay, so okay, I don't know that much about the careers, but I know like a good chunk, which is okay. Johnny Young Bosch. We all know Johnny Young Bosch. He fellow Power Ranger, and also anime voice actor extraordinaire. Do I say Do you agree with me?
And the audience falls silent. Wait a minute, we don't have an audience yet.
Oh. Well, he's going to be the voice of Artemis. So imagine Ichigo's voice coming out of a cute little kitty cat.
Aww.
And also, speaking of Bleach, the voice of Luna is going to be Michelle Ruff, who's also the voice, who's appeared in Bleach as Rukia. So you got yourself Luna's voice coming out of Luna and Ichigo coming out of Artemis. That will create some weird fan fiction right there.
That will create a lot of fan fiction.
Alright, so the voice, let's see. Let me think. I am totally prepared for this.
Yes. Well, this was like a last minute thing to look up their English voice actors.
Okay, so Stephanie Sheh, who is actually also a very prominent voice actress, and who's going to be voice Usagi, known as Sailor Moon. You might remember Stephanie Sheh from such shows as Bleach, again.
Oh God, yeah. Is it Asagi or Asagi?
Usagi. Sorry, I think I mispronounced it. See, and Code Geass, Darker Than Black, Digimon Tamers, also Digimon Data Squad, and also K-On! What else? And another well-known voice actor, Todd Haberkorn, who as the voice of Jedi. No, not Jedi, Jedite, the first general of the Dark Kingdom. You might remember him as the voice of Italy from Hetalia Access Power, as well as their many other movies and TV specials.
Exactly.
So since we're on the topic of Sailor Moon crystals, should we explain what our opinion on it, or should we save it for like another day?
Well, you know what? I'll just have a quick thing to say about it. I really enjoy the animation. They do clean it up from the original series. The new transformation, I just wrote about it recently. I enjoy that I put a video out that somebody made of the comparison between the original transformation and to the new one, and I like both. And I know the new one for some people is kind of like they don't really like the 3D. I heard some fans that they're not too particularly excited about the 3D and then back to 2D animation.
Well, I don't. It's something to get used to.
Yeah, I think it's just some of those fans out there that they are so used to watching the original Sailor Moon. When something changes, they're like, no! I don't like things because they're new. But no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the new animation, enjoyed the new voice acting. I do enjoy the characters are toned down a bit. She still does cry a lot.
But she's not as annoying.
She's not annoying.
She's a crybaby, but she's not like yeah. Words can't describe it except those sounds. I mean, when she cries, it's because it's something that we all do when we fall down. We cry, or we just pound the floor angrily.
Yeah, but our cries don't turn into like sonic booms that can ward off bad creatures, which hers can.
Yeah, and also besides Usagi's characterization, I like the character of Mamoru, or Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't come off as being a douchebag on this one. Can I say douchebag?
Yeah, you can say douchebag. I know in the original series he didn't wear a tux, and when he talks to Usagi, And in this one, he apparently meets her in a tux, so kind of ruins the whole point of him being, mysterious and like, who is that guy?
Well, yeah, it's like, who is this person who always wears a tux? But, it's Usagi. She's not the brightest crayon in the box.
Well, she's the blondest Japanese girl I've ever seen. And
yeah,
I've seen blonde Japanese girls, and that's not the actual hair color.
And also, Tuxedo Mask, he doesn't really save her. He's more like a cheerleader. Or a coach.
Yeah, like, get up! It's like, okay.
It's like, there's no crying and when you're battling a demon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I really enjoyed the series. I'm looking forward to the second episode. And definitely check it out on Hulu and Hulu Plus right now.
Yay.
Alright, so at number 9, we have Neil Gaiman's American Gods coming to Stars.
Yes, after HBO scrapped American Gods, Stars decided to pick it up.
Yeah, that was disappointing because, for a while we heard, good things that are happening with HBO, and they were really excited to bring that on board. And then they just decided, we're deciding to, drop that property, and left, Neil Gaiman's, unfortunately, his his book just floating in, be caught by another studio. We didn't even know if it was going to come back. But no, it's a very popular book. It's won a Hugo Award and a Nebula Award, I believe.
It won all the awards.
It's Neil Gaiman. I mean, it's really hard not to win awards when you're Neil Gaiman. But no, I personally, I hate to say this, I actually haven't read it. I need to go pick it up because I heard so many good things about it. Yeah, I've read Game of Thrones. I haven't read American Gods. Don't hurt me, people.
Riots to the streets.
Oh God, no, but American Gods. No, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what Stars can do. I know Stars, since it's on Stars, they can do pretty graphic and also heavy stuff. I mean, they had Spartacus, I believe, originally.
Oh,
and
yes.
that was pretty brutal, and also had a lot of adult content on there. So they can pretty much do whatever they want on Stars, except for, well, I think they can even kill babies. But we're not talking about that for American Gods. No baby killing. This is not the road. So definitely actually pick up Neil Gaiman's American Gods, because I'm definitely going to next time I'm at the bookstore. And look forward to seeing Stars produce this. And probably, I wouldn't be surprised if Neil Gaiman is the executive producer and main writer of the show. That's what they did with, Robert Kirkman. And now he's the main writer of the show. I believe he started off as executive producer. But no, definitely check this out when it comes out. And on to our last story of the night. So our last story of the night is about the Constantine pilot, and it was recently leaked online. Now, for anybody who yeah, I've already seen it. For anybody who who doesn't know who John Constantine is, well, let's just say he fights demons and all sorts of demonic type of creatures, and it's pretty much supernatural. In fact, the creators of Supernatural were trying to make a Constantine show, but for some reason we're having trouble with getting the rights to the character, and so instead of doing that, they create a storyline about two brothers, fighting and, demons. And, well, if you've seen a character named Castiel, and why he looks so familiar, well, yes, because that's a reference to John Constantine and the jacket and everything. So Yeah, that's pretty much I know a lot of fangirls are going to come out and say, "You ripped off Supernatural." I'm like, no, Supernatural was originally supposed to be Constantine, or AKA Hellblazer. So, I can see those comments going throughout the forums.
Oh, I bet Tumblr is going to be exploding and like, that's it, exploding with rants.
Yeah. And of course, we're going to have that other side that says, you do know that Hellblazer came out in the 80s, right? Way before Supernatural.
So since you watch it, here's one question. Did he smoke?
No.
Oh.
And that's pissed a lot of fans off. Apparently, network television has a problem with people smoking. I don't understand that. I mean, you can smoke on cable television, but apparently network television, there's a rule now, because it's, people are so PC on network television these days, which is surprising because there's some content on network television that you would wonder, okay, so they're allowed to do this and this and this, but they're not allowed to smoke, like a chimney.
So, okay, so it's okay that you see a corpse being drip dry for blood, and no smoking?
Apparently. So, a lot of fans are pissed about this. I think that's the only really bad critique I've heard about this show is from the fans, is that he doesn't smoke, and they're really pissed that he doesn't smoke because that's a big part of the character in the comic book, that he does smoke. But pretty much for everything else, they really nailed him. He's very snarky. He's very. It starts off with him in a mental institution that he decided to check himself in because one of his exorcisms, or he kind of screwed up that to get rid of the demon, and it took a girl's soul to hell, and he's sort of responsible for that. So he's trying to atone for his sins. And I do love the graphics in there. It's really fun. There's this girl that's been introduced in the show who apparently her father was worked with Constantine before, and he even had this interesting room he kept. It was pretty much like underground, and so when they go there, she's going through some of the stuff that's on the table in the room, and there's this large golden helmet that he starts to play with and pick up, and Constantine tells her to put it down before he puts her down. So she puts it down, and as the camera zooms around, you can see that this is the helmet of Naboo, or AKA Dr. Fate's helmet. So I'm hearing rumors now. Don't take me at my word for this, because I kept hearing rumors that they might, like, maybe as, I don't know, a recurring role, or just like just a quick cameo, that they might bring in the character Zatanna for this show. Because it is a DC property, Dr. Fate is a DC property, it has to do with the mystical arts and everything, demons and whatnot. So that would actually be really interesting if they did that. Unfortunately, this is not connected to like the Arrow and the Flash universe, which is somewhat disappointing, because that would be awesome if they actually could connect those guys with
Constantine. So Fox, NBC, and CW all have all have DC properties now.
Yep.
Wow. Despite what people think of the DC movies, they really kick ass in the TV department.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. And I really enjoyed this trailer. I like the very end where, well, I'm not going to really spoil the very end. But no, he's the guy they got. Now I forgot the actor's name all of a sudden. But the guy that they got, he's very good. He's very British, and he looks like Constantine. He just looks like him, offhand. Just he's not the Keanu Reeves Constantine that you remember from the films.
I didn't know they were connected.
Oh no. So alright, so that's that. I enjoy it. So definitely look for that. Or
also one thing, you know what? I'm actually okay with the fact that he's not smoking. At least it's not like Nick Fury in the 90s Marvel cartoons where he has a toothpick in his mouth, or like in anime censorship where it's a lollipop.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe Constantine will have one of those e-cigarettes and try to be all badass. Maybe not.
Exactly. All right, so that was our 10 stories for the week, and now we're on to the top 10 films at the box office. So at number 10, at number 10 we have Chef. That was a Jon Favreau film. I heard it was actually really good. Made about $1.7 million this week in its 9th week. And at number 9, hold on a second, wait a minute. Oh, I'm reading from the wrong list. Sorry.
Yeah, I was thinking like, what? Wait. Last week's or this week?
No, this week. Okay, so I'm looking at lower. Okay, so reading the numbers wrong, people. I apologize. All right, at number 10 we have Edge of Tomorrow. Okay.
Yay!
By Warner Brothers. You and I saw this movie. It's an awesome movie, and it's made $3.6 million in its 5th week. This movie deserves a lot of high praise for the film. I enjoyed it. I really am definitely, actually, I've already pre-ordered it, the film. So, on Blu-ray. That's how much I liked it. I pre-ordered it. So definitely check this out. It's still in theaters. It stars Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. Badass film. It's also based on an awesome manga. So, check it out. And at number 9, we have Think Like a Man 2 by Screen Gems, which I'm still scratching my head how that's still above Edge of Tomorrow. It's made $4.8 million in its 3rd week. And
maybe they saw Matt Jones's review and got curious.
Oh God, I don't know. Think Like a Man 1 wasn't that good, so I don't know how it got a sequel. All right, and at number 8 we have Jersey Boys by Warner Brothers at $5.1 million this week in its 3rd week as well. That also was based on a Broadway play.
Yep.
And at number 7 we have Maleficent by Disney or Buena Vista at $6.1 million in its 6th week. I still haven't seen this film. This is yeah, I know. It's an Angelina Jolie film. And apparently only Angelina Jolie, because everybody apparently I've heard is just phoning it in.
Yeah, but there's this cute little scene where with Angelina Jolie and her daughter.
Her actual daughter, yes, who plays young, was it?
Young Aurora.
Yeah, Laurel.
Yes, because she is the only child who would just who's not freaked out of the costume, which makes people wonder, like, what's going on in the Jolie Pitt household. But then again, this is Angelina Jolie. Look at her past.
Yes, exactly. That combination of a Jolie Pitt, I wonder what that would look like. It'd be like, I can't get out of this Jolie Pitt. Yeah, I sunk into it. I have no idea what's going on. Really bad pun there. But alright, so at number 6 we have Earth to Echo. This is actually extremely disappointing for the people. I think it was a Relativity. It wasn't that a very expensive film to make.
Of course, it's found footage.
It's found footage. Everybody thinks the found footage generation is still here. It's done. We were done with it like for 3 years now.
Okay, so there is actually a better. Found footage. So this movie is like a cross between Cloverfield and Super 8, which, in my opinion, if you want to see a better movie, watch either Cloverfield or Super 8.
Yeah, definitely. And Super 8 was awesome.
Yes.
And had a much scarier alien. This one is like, oh, it's adorable, it's cute. Oh my god, it can create ships out of, like, spare parts. But, no, apparently this really didn't get that good of rating. So, I would unfortunately, even without seeing it, looking at the trailer, probably skip it. If you really want to see it, wait till Blu-ray. So, Yeah, this only made $8.3 million in its first week, and at number 6. Disappointing for the creators of the film, but you had your chance, and you had one job, and you blew it.
No.
All right, so at number 5 is a fun film that I enjoyed very much. It's How to Train Your Dragon 2 at $8.9 million this week, and it's in its 4th week.
Mm-hmm.
Very good film. I enjoyed the first film. Definitely seen this. I have the first film on Blu-ray. Definitely got to pick up the second one. The second one will give you the feels. That's all I can say. I really don't want to spoil anything, but I'm just going to say it will give you the feels. And guys will be like in the back going, I'm not crying. There's this damn onion. We don't even have onions. It appeared.
I'm just sweating from my eyes.
Yeah, exactly. So good film. So definitely check it out. At number 4, we have Deliver Us from Evil in the first week. Another screen
gem.
Yeah, God. This one is another disappointment to people. Apparently, this is the wrong time of year to come out with a horror film. I would say more in the fall. This is to be if this was around late September to October, this might have worked. Probably it would have worked better, personally, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because people want to see a scary movie. They want to see something to freak them out. They want to go to a midnight film around that time and be scared. And the summer is not one of the best times to release a horror film, personally. It's more like the best time to release big Hollywood blockbuster popcorn flicks.
It's like, we don't want to see a scary movie. We want to see, robots beat each other up.
Yeah, even with a bad plot line. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I did see it, but come on, people. That father-daughter relationship just did not work for that film. All right. Yeah, so, yeah, that made $9.7 million. Kind of disappointment. Coming in number 4 its first week. At number 3, we have 22 Jump Street. I've heard it's a very good film. I still haven't seen it myself. The first one I enjoyed. Funny as hell. Apparently, the 22 Jump Street is even funnier. By Sony Entertainment. It made $9.8 million in its 4th week.
Tatum
Keep
doing comedies.
Tatum and Hill. Well, Tatum's very good at 2 things, I think. Actually 3 things. He's good at dancing, he's good at comedy, and he's good at action. But what he's not good at is drama.
So, we need a comedy action with a lot of dancing.
Yeah, when you put him in a movie with Rachel McAdams and you try to go, let's make a drama.
Oh yeah, The Vow. That was on the TV.
Yeah, it's like she goes through a windshield and gets minor scratches and retroamnesia. Wait a minute.
Okay.
I've seen people go through windshields. Me personally, I've seen a dead body go through a windshield. So that's a whole nother story.
She looks like she could be in that in one of those driver education films, like Alice goes through the windshield wiper.
In slow-mo. So, yeah, definitely those are, his top 3 things that he does well in film. And everything else he really needs an acting coach on. All right, so at number 2, we have Tammy by Warner Brothers.
I just don't get it.
I don't get, I like Melissa McCarthy. She's funny in some things, but she reminds me, and I'm not saying this about just because of her weight, and people might, take it as that, but she reminds me of a female version of Chris Farley.
I would say more of a female version of Kevin James.
Well, no, because when I say Chris Farley, I mean, it seems her comedy is very self-deprecating on her, as a comedian. And I know she can do so much better, but for some reason she's stuck in this, typecast as, this, sort of an idiotic character that doesn't seem to do anything right, and we're supposed to laugh at that.
Well, if you want a good, Melissa McCarthy, project, watch Mike and Molly.
Okay.
She's actually good in it. I got a few laughs on it.
I have seen that one. Yeah, definitely. But as far as the films are concerned, I think the first time a lot of people really got, a glimpse of who she was she was in Bridesmaids.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, that one scene where she takes a crap in the sink.
So that's the crap heard around the world.
That's the crap heard around the world, and that's what everybody's like, oh my god, it's like a female version of The Hangover.
Yeah.
Alright, so yes, that made $21.5 million at number one, or number two. And number one, we have Transformers Age of Extinction that unfortunately only made $37 million during the 4th of July weekend.
I wonder why.
I think it was word of mouth, also, critics talking about it. But surprisingly, you would think, even with poor reviews, that people would go see this film. And
I heard it's actually a little bit better, but there's always the other side that it's just is much worse.
Yeah, I'm finishing up my review of the movie, and the father-daughter relationship between Peltz and Wahlberg is so forced that you don't really feel that, they're really a dynamic duo. That, he does seem to care for him, but it's very forced, and I've seen him in better roles. I've seen him in better Michael Bay roles, like Pain and Gain.
So, okay.
Yeah, so
I want to read what, like, your take on it. So we got to figure out what needs to be taken away and what needs to be improved. And when I meant improve by like 5%.
I think the thing that really needs to be improved is Michael Bay give the reins to somebody else. Let him produce, because he likes the explosions. Let him produce, but let somebody else direct, because
you can have a good movie with explosions.
Yeah, he has an obsession with young girls and going up their skirts, even when they're not wearing skirts.
Yeah. Japanese pervert?
Well, she plays a 17-year-old, and Nicola Peltz is actually she's 19 now, I believe. She played Katara in Last Airbender. If anybody remembers that character. Or her acting skills. So, yeah, I think we talked about that earlier. But, yeah, it was... there were so many things that could have been improved in that film, and personally, the thing that really needs to be improved is Michael Bay needs to take, gives the reins to somebody else.
Or has someone who's manipulative enough to say to Michael Bay, no, don't do this.
Exactly. You've screwed up. This is the 4th time you screwed up. Give me the reins. No, give me the reins. But yeah,
I'm fine. I can take the reins. I can direct.
Exactly. This has received more, I guess, revenue over at in China than in America. Reminds me of Pacific Rim, which recently got picked up for a sequel. They made more money over China than they did in the States. Yeah, they must love their robots. So.
Well, I don't know, because China's not really much of a robot country.
I don't know, but they apparently do love their giant robots. Alright, so that is the top 10 films in the box office this week. I would like to thank my co-host, Sandra Lee, for coming on the show as a guest host.
I'm here to save the day.
Yay! And we will be bringing you weekly news stories every week on the week. If I miss a week, I apologize. Something probably happened. But you can check me out on Facebook at JPOOL's Gnerd Corner. And I will be posting up links on my YouTube page once I rename a bunch of stuff and my Twitter. So check out the link on Facebook once I post it up. And thank you for listening to our first Gnerd Corners news show.